What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nate Dizzy. It's been a while, and basically I've just been taking some time off, figuring things out. I had some times of frustration. I had to, just get everything together. I feel like you can't really make, your top level best content if you're not fully focused and feeling like you're in a good place. So just here recently, I was inspired to make a video, and then I didn't. And then I was inspired again, and I didn't again make a video. Of course, because that's how stuff works. So anyway, come to today, and I'm inspired to the point where I'm gonna make a video. So what we're gonna talk about is basically the changes to Fortnite with Season 9. I may make a separate video about kind of everything revolving around Season 9, but pretty much the biggest, most standout is the addition of the new shotgun, which I'm holding now, the combat shotgun, as well as the exclusion, the removal of the traditional classic pump, which is probably one of the most iconic weapons in all of Fortnite. Now, initially your response may be, what the because, like I said, this is the most iconic weapon in the game, specifically this model. Of course, we recently had picked up the legendary model, but this one in particular, of course, I'm talking about the traditional classic pump, was basically, like I said, one of the most iconic Fortnite weapons that that we had, and a lot of people, for good reason, are a little freaked out by it. Which, I understand, especially with everything else that's going on. I think a lot of the pros are kind of just like, especially particular ones, are just kind of thrown off. That was kind of weird. They're just thrown off by the whole thing. And, but me personally, I initially, right off the bat, was like, you know what? This may be one of the greatest changes since maybe Season 4. Obviously, there's been a lot of other changes to the map that, most of the things I agree with, but the pump it's a big thing, and it's a hot button, I feel like. So, I want to go ahead and talk about why I think it was a good thing. So first off, I'll start off, there was basically Epic actually responded to people being like, we want to know why you did this, and they said, they gave us some numbers, and essentially, the pump shotgun, in one of its forms, rarities, was responsible for 25% of kills, and no other weapon came anywhere near that in terms of, numbers of kills, like how many kills they were able to make happen. So, that's the first thing I wanted to kind of bring up. And if you want to check it out, just go check out what Epic had to say about it. Just go check out. I'm sure that they released it on their Twitter, maybe their Facebook as well. Twitter's the main source. If you want to look at what Epic's got going on, that's where you go to see it. I'm an old head and I don't really have a Twitter, but I made one just so I can check things like that out. Anyway, let's talk about the new combat shotgun. So first off, we'll look at some damage stats. So if we're comparing it to the old gold heavy shotgun, we got a DPS of 77, 110 damage per shot. That's a body shot. There is a headshot multiplier for this. I don't know the exact one, and it doesn't give it. I think that they should give that. I think that should be another stat line here, but I could easily check it later on, and I'll add it in the video if I feel like it's necessary. You have a fire rate of 0.7, a magazine size of 5 shots, and a reload time of 4.2 seconds. Very, very powerful weapon. Very powerful. And even the blue, 100 damage. So there's only a 10 damage difference. And initially, the Epic and Legendary versions pulled out faster. So you could actually pull the gun out faster to shoot. But they later nerfed that and made them equal to each other, which was, I think, a good thing, because you're really able to edit peak at a speed that was almost like you couldn't defend against it. If someone got an edit peak on you, even if you already had your gun out ready to shoot, a lot of the times they beat you because they know when they're going to edit, so you kind of need that little timing offset. Anyway, so looking at the blue, we have the same magazine size. We have a slightly longer reload time. Of course, you can reload single shots and then fire, so not a huge deal, but yeah. Fire rate 0.7, again the same. So basically you just get the damage increase on the gold pump. And this is a very powerful weapon. You can easily one-shot, I mean, you can one-shot with the blue. And you can almost one-shot and basically one-shot pretty much any opponent unless they're full health with the green. So that is a very powerful weapon. Fire slightly slow. We'll go ahead and take a look at the fire rate here. So, you know, boom, boom. Seems like about a second. Now let's take a look at the new combat shotgun. So we have a DPS of 149, and this, you know, as you can see, higher DPS value, and that is because the combat shotgun has a fire rate of 1.85. Now I have a feeling in the future this will be nerfed because it's quite powerful. It shoots very fast and does a high degree of damage, which you'll see in here in a minute. But yeah, we're talking about an 81 damage shot, which is a few below a green pump, I think. No, a green pump does 95. So we're looking at about 14 points of damage difference, but we're looking at more than double the fire rate. We're talking about, you know, basically almost a whole, yeah, no, it is a whole 1.15 addition to fire rate speed, which is huge. Now, and we're still doing 81 damage, so 80% of the damage of a blue, and, you know, a little bit less than 75% damage of the gold pump. Now, we have a much bigger magazine at 10 shots, so not only do you get, you know, a faster shot, but you get more. Again, too, let's go ahead and look at the spread here. As you can see, if we come over here, dog in the background, of course. We'll just use this F key. Sam, hush! Okay, yeah, so we'll just use this F key as a little indicator here. So you can see it roughly takes up this F key. Now, if I pull out the new combat shotgun, it is significantly, maybe even half the size. If we just switch over, yep, it's maybe a little bit less than half. You see, it's circling the F there. And here we're circling the square. So huge difference in spread, which means that this is a highly accurate shotgun, but you have to be highly accurate to use it in order to do damages. I heard Cypher PK talk about it, and he was all like, oh, the spread's so small, you have to be super accurate. Well, yeah, like, you need to be super accurate to use it, of course you do. I feel like that's appropriate, especially considering the fire rate and still retaining most of the damage. Now, like I said, I feel like this shotgun will be nerfed. Either they're going to take out the higher end levels of it, or they're going to nerf the damage overall, because currently this thing is super, super powerful. But now that we've kind of taken a look at them, real quick, we'll go ahead and show you the fire rate. I mean, this thing's a monster. Now, hopefully, in my opinion, they do nerf it, either in the speed of the shots or the damage of the shots or both. Okay, that's insanity. Okay, I've it's basically a double pump when you're shooting at somebody, and I've double pumped several people. Just, I mean, that compared to, I mean, it's just insane. Also, the fall off on this gun, I noticed, is actually quite good. Doing 84 from here, you're doing 55. See what I mean? It quickly becomes better, depending on the distance that you're shooting from. So, taking everything into account, I think this is actually quite an OP shotgun, and maybe they did that on purpose so that when people they're like freaking out, they're like, oh my god, they took the pump out of the game, freaking idiots. You know, we have something to kind of make up for that and be like, well, look, this gun is actually better if you take a look at it. And I'm thinking that's what's going to happen, then eventually they'll balance it out. So that's my kind of first thoughts on it. Initially, I was like, you know what, this is going to change the game. As I said, and Epic brought up, they basically made it, they did the data and found out that the shotgun was accounting for a ridiculous amount of the kills. A quarter of all kills were done with the shotgun. So they're like, okay, well, we need to kind of rebalance the weapons. And this is what I think is the best aspect of this change to the game. It's that this rebalances the game in such a way that basically, you know, every gun is viable. So this shotgun, once it's rebalanced, as I said, because I kind of feel like it's a little on the OP side, but once it's rebalanced, this shotgun will be, you know, a contender for, you know, one of the better weapons in the game. But also, I'll go ahead and bring up, they made changes to the tactical shotgun. So we'll go ahead and we'll bring attack in here. Good to start the game back up. And let's go over and compare the combat with attack now. Now both of these are still in the game. Or well, obviously the combat's in, but the attack's still in the game in the blue rarity. Now I'm gonna have to wait 15 seconds because they added that. I need to change it. But we're gonna go ahead and compare these two because now these are the two shotguns in the game. Now we'll go ahead and real quickly just compare the fire rate. That's why I feel like this needs to be balanced, because it actually shoots faster than the attack. Now, one thing about the attack now, though, is that they've adjusted the damage. The attack now does more damage. So the attack actually does more damage than the combat while being slightly slower, and both are slightly less in one-shot potential than the pump. They're both still extremely powerful. Now, the attack is an amazing place. It is not overpowered in my opinion, but it's not underpowered like it was before. Before, if I got attack, I would be upset. I'd be like, oh my god, you can't play the game without having a pump. But now, you're choosing between, you know, good and basically good and gooder, or no. But now you're choosing between good or good, and really you can't go wrong choosing either shotgun, and it kind of comes down to playstyle. Also, because of the slightly reduced one-shot potential, you still can use SMGs in your strategies. And you also need them if someone's building well, because obviously shotguns are a little cruddier if your opponent can build and protect themselves. If they're turbo building, you'll never shotgun through it. So your SMG still has a place. Go ahead and pick one up. And no matter which of these shotguns you're using, you're still going to need to spray through people's builds, as well as having medium range potential with an AR. Go ahead and pick one of those up too. But the main focus too is because of the shotgun not having so much one-shot potential, while still maintaining like being very powerful. We have a variety of different strategies you can employ in terms of fighting someone. I mean, you could honestly just go with you know, like dual submachine guns like this. You could honestly play like this, and you're damaging and doing just as much damage as you would with the shotgun now. So basically, we're adding great weapon variety into the game. And while the pump may be extremely iconic, and you know, people love the pump and they love how it works, and they, you know, love the game with the pump in it, I feel like it was kind of a hindrance to furthering the game, because anything they add close range wise has never really added up, short of being extremely OP to the point where it was just kind of ridiculous, like with the original P90 was just, you know, actually absurd in its strength. You could the main problem with it, in my opinion, was the fall off was ridiculous, as well as the accuracy combined with the fire rate. So basically it was extremely accurate, had very little damage fall off, and had a high fire rate. That's a recipe for like an overpowered weapon, which I think is, again, I think this is happening with this shotgun. Now, I think with a little adjustment, it could be made perfect, you know, perfectly fine. It's kind of weird because the tac used to be the option for like shooting fast and you know, Basically, if you wanted to take more shots, rather than taking the one with a pump. But now it's the other way around. You've got the tack to do more damage and have, you know, the bigger spread. Overall, I feel like all these adjustments that were made were very smart, very well thought out, and good adjustments overall for Fortnite as a game. I've played since, and I also feel like they've done some optimization. But that's about it for this video. We'll see. We'll just have to see how it goes and see, you know, how it all plays out. But I feel like this could have been like a very good change, and that may be an unpopular opinion. But I feel like overall, it was a good idea to go ahead and to get rid of one of the most iconic guns in the game, and we'll see how it goes. And either way, we'll have to move on, because I don't think Epic's never gonna just listen to us alone. They have their own idea of what they want the game to be, and they also have a lot of data. And especially with, like I said, the game's playing great. I'm kind of starting to trust them a little bit more with their decisions. Now, I don't think it was the best, like I said, in terms of the way they balanced this shotgun, but I do like an accurate shotgun, and I've always wanted, say, the pump to be more accurate, even if they decrease the damage, because sometimes you miss shots because of bad spread, and I think decreasing that in a game, in a competitive esport, is important to making sure that, you know, it's about being the best at the game. It's not about, you know, it's not about, basically, you know, it just being awesome and this and that. It's about, basically, balancing the game in such a way that the skilled people make it. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say is, basically, it's important that the people who spend the time getting better and work on their skills, the skilled player wins. And I feel like in any esport, that should be the main goal of any development team in terms of the competitive game, is to make it so that the skilled player wins more often than not. Fortnite is a battle royale, and they're inherently random, and there's inherent there's things that are inherent to battle royale, such as the randomness factor, where basically any player can kill any player regardless of skill, just depending on situations. So for example, a new player can get lucky and win, but I just feel like the more skilled players should win majority of the time if they want to be taken seriously as an esport. And I feel like, you know, big positive changes. So that's about it for this video. I'm probably gonna go ahead and drop out another video, so if you want to kind of check out and see you know, what they've done with season 9 and my thoughts on that, go ahead and check that out. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, if you want to see more, what you want to see, and check me out on my stream. I stream over at Facebook. My page is So Dizzy Productions. Over at Facebook, and on Twitch, my Twitch is Nate Dizzy, and that's about it. So I'm gonna let you go. Hope you're having a great day. Nate Dizzy out.